So we've literally had a client where we got them to number one with a Reddit post like that. There's a complete page one takeover. Not every niche is easy for that. The smarter way of doing it is actually...
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Jolly SEOs TLDR. I'm your host, Greg Heilers, co-founder at Jolly, where we do earned link building and now Reddit. So this is a very timely episode. We have the SEO Jesus, Stewart Vickers. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Greg.
Oh, it was awesome meeting you at the tail end of 2025 in Shenzhen, if you remember.
Also, finally, yes, I know.
Yeah, well, you say finally. I'm impressed if you even heard my name before. I've seen your brand everywhere. I don't think the listener will have not heard of you before. I'm curious, SEOJesus.com. I told you pre-recording, struggle to call you the founder. You're everything. Like, you are the brand. My impression was YouTube first, but what platform did you really kick it off on?
It was YouTube, yeah. So I've been in SEO for about 8-9 years now. As an affiliate in the background, I had 4 years thinking, I can't possibly run an agency. I've got to be the best affiliate in the world before I have the right to run an agency. And then all that happened was, ended up working a corporate job where they had not one but 2 SEO agencies. And I thought I could do much better than they do, cheaper, faster, etc. So quit in 2022, started my agency, and initially built with in-person networking. So I thought I cracked it. Go to an event, go to a conference, have this great rock and roll lifestyle, sign up a few clients, everyone's happy. But there's a limit to that. You plateau. So we were stuck around $15,000 a month. I mean, I got from nothing to $10,000 a month in 6 months in 2022, the second half of 2022. So I was like, yeah, 6 figures in 6 months. Look at me. Rest of 2023, stuck at 15K a month. That was until September 2023. I'd just been trying all sorts of different online lead generation. Figured I'd give YouTube give it a go. And my first video got 10,000 views. So that's when things really started taking off. And so from September to January, that's less than 5 months, I think, we went from, basically that 15K up to 50K.
Just awesome. I love your transparency. When we met in person for the first time, to be honest, I was like, someone this transparent. I was surprised. I like to be transparent, but I don't know about you. It's felt rare to find people that are that transparent. So,
well, really they might be transparent, but they might not be truthful about the actual numbers they're being transparent about. So.
Yeah. People throw around the numbers. Oh, well, you also had that great photo of you on a private jet that people were calling you out for faking, but you didn't fake it. It was actually
it's not a private jet. It's just business class. But people see me in a jet, and there's this whole storm of comments. And it's my most successful Facebook ad. But all the pushback I'm getting is saying this is fake. You're in a warehouse somewhere, and you can't reason with this. People, it's absolutely true. So I've now just leaned into that. In fact, coming back from Bangkok, I actually upgraded to first class for the first time ever. So as usual, documented the whole thing, and every time I took a clip, it was, look at me in first class, but it's probably still fake.
Probably.
So I got an absolute troll of a video where every clip is, look, Bollinger champagne, probably fake.
All right. Well, I promise I will spare people videos of me and Coach, but I can also promise none of it's fake. I'm eager to dive in and ask you about Reddit, which for the last couple years has been the talk of the town, let's say, with the licensing deal with Google and now OpenAI. I'm just curious, like, how long have you personally been using Reddit? Me personally, pre-SEO life, I didn't touch Reddit. Outside of SEO life, I'm not a native user. So how about you? Are you personally using Reddit, or is this more for SEO purposes, like some people like me, for example?
No, same for me. I never really got it. The sort of whole sort of Wild West community that's also kind of, there's a personality behind it, and they're quite sort of gatekeepery, and I never really got it as a platform. Sometimes if you're trying to fix your car or something like that, and you find this niche post from 5 years ago and it's got your exact answer, then that's always really good. But that was, again, coming from a Google search, not as a native Reddit user. Totally. So you can kind of understand. I remember the affiliate days where we were told if you've got Reddit results in the SERP, then that tells you you've got a low competition keyword because you've got this crappy Reddit result, user-generated content that's not high-quality content. And then it was a couple of years ago, around HCU, that Google decided, no, actually, that's quality content and should outrank everything else. And you're kind of realizing it. So you think, actually, yeah, I think a 5-year-old Reddit comment can be more useful to me for my exact situation than an affiliate blog where you've got to read 3,000 words before you actually get to your answer.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to get right back to it. Real quick, if you're not sure how you're showing up in AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and the like, click on that first link in the description. If you fill that out for us, we'll send you your own AI visibility report and see how we can help you boost your results. All right, without further ado, remember that link and enjoy the rest of the show. It's amazing that Reddit was a tell for you that this could be a good niche, because then, let's say 2024, 2025, it was, if you see Reddit in the SERPs, you're kind of screwed, because it's going to be really hard to outcompete that. Which brings me to, you are offering Reddit to clients. We are offering Reddit to clients. It's helping clients. I just want to ask you some tactical questions. There's a lot of Reddit users. You know, you and I don't use it personally, but understandably, they're like, hate the Reddit spam, right? What's the kind of content that you see performing well on Reddit for clients? Is it promotional, or is it so far from promotional it's almost hard to tell who's making the comment? Are they inserting the brand name? These are the kind of questions that I think all of us have when we're nervously considering entering Reddit.
Yeah, so we're purely promotional. I've managed to get this black hat reputation from somewhere, whereas I just say more about direct conversion in terms of, yeah, broader brand building is good, it's helpful, but if you've got this client paying you 5-10k a month, then they need to see that 5-10k a month come back, and you're not going to get there by doing these sort of waffly posts that might mention their brand once or twice. So we're very tactical. It really comes down to the niche. So we generally say if there are not already Reddit threads ranking for your keywords, then probably don't bother. It might work, but we're not willing to guarantee that sufficiently to take your money. So we want a post that's already ranking. Now, the short answer is you can just go onto that post, comment, and upvote yourself to the top. But it's much better if you can flip it out with your own post that you actually control. So again, depending on the niche, you can quite often get away with really good listicles where you basically write this personal experience of, I tested 5 to 10 of these competing products, and basically what we'll do is we'll have the number one recommendation be the client with a link to their site, and we are able to get away with links. We've got methods to actually get away with that. And then underneath, we've got some much more neutral, balanced comparisons for the other competitors. So that's a classic best of listicle. It converts really well, it ranks really well on Google, and it trains the AI, both the AI overviews at the top and the ChatGPT searches, all the other LLMs. So we've literally had a client where we got them to number one with a Reddit post like that, and because they were number one, they then influenced the AI overview. So it was a complete page one takeover. But that is tough. Not every niche is easy for that. So to answer your question, the good balance we like, the smarter way of doing it is actually you make the post that says, I'm this helpless consumer, I need product recommendations, here's my situation, what do I do about it? And then we get another account to go in and then add the comment saying, funny you should ask. Well, I did all these experiments and here is my top recommendation. Now, of course, other people are going to join in that thread as well, but ultimately you control the post and you can upvote your comment to the top. So we basically call it seeding, where you have to seed the post, and as long as that gets approved, there's nothing wrong with then your commenter coming in and making a product recommendation.
You know, there's so many different angles here. I love that you mentioned specifically you're doing like listicle, which is really cool, and it's enabling you to get posts, and not just a post, but posts with links, which is awesome for clients. There's still the question of what happens if your account is banned, and minor under that, like comments are deleted. Have you dealt with that situation yet? I'll be honest, we're new enough. I can't say we haven't had it happen because we're so awesome. I can just say we haven't had it happen yet because we're so new into the game,
Right.
delivering this at scale, that we just haven't had it happen only because of time. So have you encountered that? And if so, any recourse, or just, hey, is what it is?
Yeah, we've had plenty. So I first discovered Reddit in January last year, 2024. And it was just insane. It was revolutionary. It took me a while to understand it, but once I had the SOP, it was working great. I was doing around 2k a month in affiliate commission at that point, just doing comments. We didn't do posts at that stage because I couldn't get posts approved. And then it was March 2024, same as Google did the site reputation abuse update, the so-called parasite SEO update, which didn't end parasite SEO. But at the same time that happened, Reddit had some kind of strange ban wave where suddenly everything got tougher. Now, the way Reddit does updates is really quite interesting. It feels like you can basically do what you like, And then every 6 months or so, they do a big cleanup. And literally, there have been times where I've been in the process of buying an account from a vendor that's got high karma and everything, that's been during one of these ban waves. So they get back to me saying, "Thank you for your purchase. That account just got banned. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to try and find you a new one." And then they find half their inventory's been destroyed. And in that time, all the accounts I'd ever bought all ended up getting banned. So in the meantime, there are people out there who are far more sophisticated and intelligent with this than I am, and they're running huge networks of accounts. They've got their own secret source. They handle all the proxies, the anti-detect browsers, and so on. So I just use them. We use trusted third parties, and that allows us to have that flexibility of, right, go and make this post that's a question post, and then use this other account to then go in and make that comment. So I don't miss dealing with my own accounts at all. There's other people working on it at scale, and we can just focus on what we actually want to do rather than having to maintain this big network of accounts and keep them undetectable.
Yeah, especially with your goal is so ROI focused for your clients. It's classic in sales, marketing, but the clients want what they want. They want the benefit. They don't necessarily care about how you're achieving the benefit in this case. And I've had numerous people counsel me, and only in the latter half of 25 took the advice finally, was like, do you really want to die on this hill of we do 100% in-house? We pride
Yeah.
ourselves on never outsourcing. So yeah, we ourselves have been, especially with something as complicated as this, as you rattled off some of the technical aspects of just
And
keeping
it
accounts
for us, it
alive.
really brought it back from the dead as well, because we've got this expertise. Because I became known as the Reddit guy for a while. So February, March last year, everything going great. Then completely destroyed. People were still reaching out to me saying, "What's the latest with Reddit? How do you make Reddit work?" And I'm just saying, I don't. I've not got the fix. I don't know. To me, Reddit is dead. But then, yeah, down the line, when I started getting talking to some of these people who are really at the rock face, heavily involved with iGaming, OnlyFans, all those, they're in next level. Then suddenly, and they were telling me they can get posts approved with links. Suddenly, I thought, wow, okay, let's actually try it. I'm a bit dubious. And that's how we got our. Yeah, so we had a client in a really big niche, slightly grey hat. We got them on page one within a week with a Reddit thread. That converted great. And
We,
that was a keyword that gets searched 500,000 times a month. So that was a very happy, satisfied client in month one. Meanwhile, I'm still doing a bit of my own affiliate stuff. Affiliate is harder with Reddit because it's not as simple as simply building that brand footprint if you're just a go-between. But the best trick there is simply to register a domain that looks like your brand name, whether it's the keyword based or a misspelling of the brand name, and then forward redirect it to your affiliate link. So I've got a case study coming up on that actually, where at the moment I'm doing $4,000 a month through a single comment with a single affiliate link. So it's one offer, one comment on one thread makes me $4,000 a month.
oh, that'd be awesome to link out to. This we're filming here at the very, very end of 25. We'll probably release this in the first month or two of 26. So if that's live, then it'd be awesome to share that with people.
It
If
should be
that's
one of
possible.
those things where I'm sort of hesitating pressing send because
It's
it's this
ready.
really
You
impressive.
just don't want to send it.
Well, exactly. We do have clients paying us very decent money for Reddit services, and in the case study, I go into quite a lot of depth about the secret source,
Yeah, well,
which is fine. This is
transparency
how.
is a double-edged sword there. So be careful.
No, I think our clients come to us because they want the full package of our expertise. Is just because I hand over one provider here and there, I don't think people are immediately going to go and do it themselves because it's still just going to blow up. One of the biggest things we found for Reddit is actually the click bomb strategy we've talked about,
Yes.
where if you can send viral traffic to our URL, then it will get a temporary boost in Google rankings, but it works insanely well for Reddit threads. That's how we were able to get that client onto page one within a week, because never mind your own website, there's still a bit of suspicion with Google if your website gets thousands of clicks overnight. But if it goes to a Reddit thread, then go as hard as you like. There's no risk there.
Yeah, it was a very interesting presentation you gave in Chiang Mai at Link Building Mastery, and I'm only putting two and two together now. Can you tell me if this comparison is appropriate? It seems to me, for the link builders in the audience, this is just akin to building links to a page that you got a link from, and you or that you got a mention on, or that you got your affiliate link in. It's not your own site, right? It's an indirect game here. Does it seem like somewhat of an apt comparison?
For Reddit, yeah, exactly. It's just like the glory days of Parasite when not only do you build this Parasite post on whether it's LinkedIn, Medium, Outlook India, or whatever, but you can then throw whatever you like at that third-party page because it's very loosely connected to your site.
Yeah, fascinating. Well, we hadn't planned to talk into this, but As I mentioned the timeline here, we're transitioning into 2026. Do you have any forecast for the longevity here? Because you mentioned Reddit was dead to you at some point in this. You mentioned you were definitely before we were. You were in early 24. Obviously, people have been using Reddit for decades as marketers, right? But for us SEOs trying to help clients rank not just in Google but AI search, whatever term you like to use. Any idea what the timeline is here, or are you thinking open ended? We can't even really see the horizon right now.
So it's definitely a concern. We've had this process down for months now. I've been doing that 4K a month from one offer, one Reddit thread since early September, end of August, and that's been fine. My biggest hesitation has been that longevity element that we had such a big change in March 2024, where it was working great and then it wasn't working at all anymore. So that's been my big hesitation with taking on clients. So that's why I've been treating it as an upsell, as a value add, rather than the primary service so far. But we still want to launch it as a primary service. So yeah, there is that concern of what if it gets harder, and it does come and go. Yeah, there's always these change. Google Reddit's basically updating at the same rate as Google. You've got all these subtle shifts in the strategy, and the only way to actually know about them is just to see the overall trend of what's happening with your clients. And that point about niche dependency, I know for a fact as soon as I launch this service, then we're going to get someone sign up in a really strange niche that for whatever reason is just not going to get approved on Reddit or not rank on Reddit, whatever it is. So generally, it's if we've already got a client with Reddit threads ranking for their keywords, then we say, okay, step one, we want to comment and get your brand and links on the thread that's already ranking. And then longer term, we want to do our own thread that we control to flip out that Reddit thread for one that's promoting someone else to one that's purely promoting you. But yeah, longevity it is a risk. So clients do need to understand that. Even with that client I said was doing really well, we got them onto the number one spot within a week. And then that did get banned. The whole subreddit got banned for being unmoderated, funnily enough. So everyone was spamming that one thread. So, and I thought that was such a golden goose, that's a real shame. But about a month later, we were able to repeat it, found a different subreddit, still got them to number one, influenced the AI overview. So that was all going great. But then that got blown up as well. So, yeah, this is not a long term evergreen marketing strategy. It's not like the ideal of SEO where you build this real estate that's going to serve you for the next 5 years. But the ROI is so good that we're really not that worried. So, yeah, would I launch an overall pure Reddit agency today? There's definitely a risk there, I think, um, just because we don't know what's going to happen. But in terms of the fundamentals, I would say, yeah, Reddit marketing is still going to be a thing in 3 years' time, um, because it just works. There's people out there searching for product recommendations. The AIs like it, and Google likes it because it's basically our last resort of true human value add rather than just AI regurgitation.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of our little Harrow space here. We
Yeah,
did the Done For You Harrow Paranoid for probably 5 years running. What would happen if Harrow died?
yeah,
Well, Harrow did die, but it turns out there's other platforms that these journalists are using to source expert contributions. So Reddit bites the bullet one day, or these licensing deals that they're doing, they're only good for 1, 2, maybe 3 years. So at some point, OpenAI decides we've got enough training data, or we're tired of your demands because Reddit's starting to renegotiate now that it's starting to get a little leverage.
yeah. I mean,
I
not to take a
imagine,
bubble, but yeah, all the Reddit marketers, including myself, are all piling into the fact that something like 40%. I can't remember what the exact feature was, but 40% was the number of I think ChatGPT searches influenced by Reddit. And it was only a few months ago. People didn't really talk about it much, but that got massively downplayed. There was a ChatGPT update, and Reddit was still a major contributor, but it basically went from 40% to 10%, and no one was really talking about it because they thought, damn, this has been our USP for Reddit stuff for a long time. Let's keep quiet about that one because we're saying about how it can influence the AIs. And it can still influence the AIs, but it's not like every ChatGPT search is now coming up with all these Reddit threads like it was 6 months ago. So I thought, thank
absolutely.
God I didn't lean too much into that marketing angle.
And it's even there's yet another, I forget the name, and it's probably for the best because there's no real attribution. A tool, monitoring tool, one of these dozens of AI monitoring tools that came out in this past year, that shows that it's since bounced back from that trough you were just describing, that it's an actual
Yeah,
trough
great.
now that it's since bounced back. So, I mean, I think this is a natural progression that OpenAI does need to develop its algorithm just like any search engine does. So that makes sense. But yeah, I was right there with you where I was like, oh, I thought we finally found the silver bullet or whatever they call, right? Like the magic bullets, excuse me, where you found that one thing that is going to influence. It was 40% at one point, but no, it's definitely not there today at the time of recording. It's very interesting. Uh, Stuart, this has been educational for me. I'm certain for the audience, and I have one question I like to ask all of my guests because you come onto the show and you clearly know more than I do about this subject. So I'd just love to ask, is there something that I didn't come prepared with to ask you that as we're closing out here, you're like, why didn't we talk about this subject that we can share with the audience?
I suppose there is I think the off-page element to Reddit, and this has been the toughest thing for our SOP in terms of some Reddit threads get ranking straight away, other Reddits, they're a much slower burn. So, and I don't have an exact answer for that yet, but there is basically an off-page SOP that every Reddit thread goes through, because you'll find most Reddit marketers, they only focus on the Reddit aspect, not the how do we rank that thread on Google aspect. So off-page link building is still really good. We're testing out loads of automated tools like SEO Neo, these old school black hat tools that just blast thousands of links at your thread, because again, it's not your website, it's just a Reddit thread. So if this even carries a 10% benefit, then we're going to do it. But yeah, the single biggest ranking factor we've found has been the click-bomb viral traffic. So that's basically sending 5,000 viral social media clicks. There's some sort of loophole in the Google algorithm that rewards viral content. And of course, you can mimic that and get those signals into a page through semi-artificial means. So we'll send 5,000 real users to that Reddit thread, and literally we can make that Reddit thread pop up on page one within 24 hours.
Yeah, what I loved in your presentation, just to stay on that for a second before we sign off, you were saying this wasn't even meant to be a product. This was just meant to be kind of behind the scenes, and then you realized it was working. And it's certainly not your main offering, but you were showing how like, hey, I'm not even guaranteeing it's going to happen on the first time. If I remember right, at the time you were saying you typically tell a client like this purchase is good for up to 3 runs of this because
Correct.
we may need a couple runs to get this to trigger, so to speak.
Exactly. I've done those case studies on my channel, and yeah, the first case studies were great. I go in, I send the traffic, and then 24 hours later, big ranking boost. So you were at 15, now at position 5. Everyone's happy. But then I'll be doing another live case study, and I'll do the refresh. We're now using keyword.com for up to the minute SERP tracking, rank tracking, and nothing's happened, or it's even gone down. So okay, let's try again. It's not working, and it's finally after the third time, then it then pops. So as a bundle, as a package for clients, we include those 3 reruns for free if it doesn't work the first time. So we're looking for a significant ranking increase on the first go. So we're not talking about, it depends where you're ranking. If you're at position 5 and you get to position 3, that's obviously a huge result. But if you're at position 20 and you only move up to position 18, then I wouldn't regard that as a substantial result. Whereas if we get you from 20 to 9, then that's a much more realistic one. So there's basically a budget there for 3 reruns if we're not able to get that significant movement. And then if we still can't get it to move, then we give you your money back in full.
It's awesome. Listen, man, I saw your content online before, and I'll be honest with you, with the SEO Jesus thing, it was a little blasphemous. I'm not even religious, but somehow I managed to be like, how could you? I don't understand. And then I met you in person. You're an extremely genuine person to meet, and I'm not trying to flatter you, so that's why I'm leaving this for the tail end, not pumping you up for the beginning. I really enjoyed meeting you in person. I'm really grateful that you came on today. I know people can find you at seojesus.com. Anywhere else you want people to follow you here?
Just in terms of general following, I suppose LinkedIn's always good. I'm still just Stewart Vickers there. No, to your point, yeah, I had SEOJesus.com for a year before I decided to go for it. And there's always that concern of, is this going to be misinterpreted? So I tested it on a lot of people first, and generally the overwhelming result was very positive. And this was all sorts of different people all over the world. Anytime I told anyone, they'd sort of light up and say, dude, you have to go for that. But the amazing is exactly as you said, the amazing turnaround is when people actually know me, whether it's from YouTube or they meet me in person. I was speaking in Vegas at SEO Rockstars, and we were on the bus on the VIP day, and this guy said to me, I'm an evangelical Christian, and I heard about you, and I thought, that's wrong, that's terrible, that's blasphemous. And then I watched one of your videos, and he said, he really does look like Jesus. And from then he got it. And from then he was a fan. So yeah, the limitation is when people just see the superficial layer. So if it's a Facebook ad, I'll always get those reviews on Facebook ads because they don't actually know me. Whereas anyone who actually watches my brand, meets me in person, all that concern just melts away. So it ruffles a few feathers. There have been plenty of times I've thought about changing it, because we do get some genuinely negative pushback, which we don't really intend. But at the same time, it's been such a gift in terms of carrying my brand across the industry. I only started the agency in 22, only started in YouTube in 23, and people just say, you've completely dominated this industry in 2 years. And I love that. I say I'm all about conversion and I'm not into all this sort of white hat branding and that kind of thing. But in this case, branding has been an absolute win.
Oh, totally. I guarantee you 80-90% of the people that see this on our channel will be coming because of your name in the headline, not because they were on our channel, right? So I agree with the dominate, but really genuine person to reach out to. Highly recommend the listener reach out to you if they have questions. And Stewart, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. And you. Thank you very much.